Picture this scenario from around the 1980s, okay? The South Indian film industry is dominated by powerful men who juggle between cinema and politics. Their presence itself demands respect. So whenever they go to a place or whenever they enter a set, people around them stand up with respect or maybe out of fear too. One day, one such man known as Nadigar Tilgam and internationally known as the first Indian to win Best Actor at an international film festival enters the set of his new movie. Everybody around him stands up, out of respect. But there's this one particular woman who doesn't. Not only does she continue to be seated, but she has her leg crossed across her thigh, an act considered disrespectful. When asked why she was being disrespectful, she said, "My legs were on my thighs and not upon Nadigar Shivaji Ganeshan." This lady was none other than Silk Smitha, a person who embraced her sensuality and who mocked the lustful eyes of men for years. That's who Silk Smitha is in my eyes. A simple, normal woman who lived her life in her own terms, not because she was rebellious, because it was in her nature to do so. So she was the same old Vijayalakshmi who sat cross-legged whenever she wanted. Silk's story is something that's all too familiar in the cinema world. Born into poverty, Vijayalakshmi had to drop out of school in 4th standard to help her mother at home. She was married off without her consent at the age of 14 to an abusive husband. After 2 years, she ran away from her home all the way to Chennai in the hope to live a better life. Luck wasn't on her side as much. She wanted to be as famous as Savitri, but she joined the film industry as a touch-up artist. Over time, it was director Vinu Chakravarti who saw a fire or a passion within her and decided to take her under his wing. He coached her into becoming an actor. In the year 1979, Silk Smitha starred in her first Tamil movie called Vandi Chakram, which became an instant hit. Her character as the bad bar girl Silk became so famous that people started calling her Silk Smitha, and that's how she got her name. But it came with the typecast of being the bad woman. These bad women were placed in the plot to seduce the hero as a precursor of him choosing the good woman who was chaste, who had familial values, who were obedient to the husband and were capable of looking after his children. Silk, on the other hand, was a home wrecker who was characterless and whose only aim was to seduce men. The joke was on the filmmakers though, because Silk played the role unapologetically and with unmatched finesse. There were times when distributors refused to pick up a movie unless there was a dance by Silk in it. Such was this lady's popularity. In 3 years, she appeared in 200 movies, and by 1992, she's said to have appeared in over 500 movies. And in another 4 years, the world woke up to the news of her death. Silk's fame was something that surprised many in the industry because she did not fit the conventional standards of beauty back then, nor did she dance well like her counterparts like Vijayalakshmi and Jayamalini. Once during an interview, Kamal Hassan stated that she couldn't even dance to save her life. He went on to state that dance master Sundaram actually would choreograph steps that were doable by her, and then she would eventually copy paste it in her own silky way. So while on one hand, Silk did not have that much of a talent, there was no competition against her when it came to oozing eroticism. Speaking about her mass film historian Theodore Bhaskaran once said, "Ensuring the male gaze is very important in Tamil cinema, and Silk brought loads of it." If you think about it, that's what made all the difference to make her stand out from her. She was on the cover of all Tamil major publications, and it was guaranteed that if you had a picture of Silk Smitha on the cover page of your magazine, there was going to be readership. The whole bad woman, sex bomb, soft porn branding guaranteed that people would actually go and purchase stuff that had her face on it. That included her perfumes, accessories, and even lingerie. Everybody knew that she was a shortcut sellout, including her. Believe it or not, before her success in Tamil cinema, she actually worked in the Malayalam film industry for 7 years, but didn't leave much of a mark. By 1978, Malayalam cinema welcomed Avalude Ravagal and actor Seema, who was an extra in movies until then. The plot followed the struggles of a young sex worker from the slums and was celebrated as the mother of all South Indian soft sex film. It was after the success of Avalude Ravagal that another aspiring filmmaker, Anthony Eastman, ventured into exploring the social narrative around sex worker. 3 years later, Eastman released Ine Tedi, with Silk Smitha being the lead actor playing a sex worker. It was It was a role that was originally designed for Shobha, but because she had committed suicide, the role was then given to Silk Smitha. Her fame even surpassed main actors at the time. During the 80s and 90s, it was Mohanlal who ruled the industry. When Spadikam released in the theatres, everybody was not only howling Mohanlal's name. The moment she appeared in the song Erumala Poonchola, the audience just went berserk. Even today, there are plenty of scandalous stories with questionable sources about Silk Smitha on various social media platforms. While looking for the right words to wrap up this video about Silk, I read her last note, which is like all over the internet. All I could think was that she was a simple woman with simple desires. She just wanted to be loved by all and not for her body. Despite being exploited over and over again, she continued to wish well for others. And despite having so many dreams she wanted to fulfill, I feel like she must have found it exhausting and disturbing to even continue living. Such was the world of the unapologetic queen of sensuality, or Silk Smitha. At this point, it even feels disturbing for me to even call her by that name. I keep wondering if at one point she thought of going back to being the small town village girl Vijayalakshmi. We would never know because we never cared enough to ask her that.